So I finally ended up putting a build on the Tenet Envoy, and I gotta say, it's not a bad weapon. It's definitely a pretty decent weapon. I would even say like it's a very good replacement if you don't want to use something like a lens or even like a Brahma, like any kind of like explosive primary weapon that you're looking for. Envoy is a good like replacement for it because it has the damage, and with the status mods and shit, I feel like it could really do good damage with the galvanized savvy. No, that's the shotgun one, whichever one it is for the rifle. I feel like with that mod and with like maybe if you have a ribbon for it, I don't know, it's a pretty decent weapon. The only thing is kind of bad about it, I guess, is the fire rate. Kind of sucks. But yeah, overall, if you get, I guess if you want like a replacement for something that is something like a Czar, I mean not a Czar. I guess Czar is a little bit better. I do gotta say like Kuba Czar is a little bit better, a lot better than this. But if you want like a replacement for like a rocket launcher type deal, it is a pretty decent weapon. So let's get into the build. The build I ended up with is pretty simple: amalgam serration, galvanized chamber, galvanized aptitude, heavy cal, point strike, malignant force, vital sense, stormbringer, the whole normal stuff. It is, as I said, not a bad weapon. Like I was actually thought that this weapon was not gonna do like a lot of damage just because I was like, I'm not sure, but yeah, that pretty much the build is, as you would expect, if, and then again, if you want like a little bit more fire rate on this thing, I guess you could run fire rate and remove heavy cal maybe, or something else, like if you want to run, or if you want to run more what do you call it, crit chance, I guess you can do that. You can try to run critical delay, I guess, if you want to, but I just didn't really want to run it because it just butchers the attacks, the not attack speed, fire rate. So yeah, that's the build. Now, of course, in testing, it was pretty decent. I think it was like getting 2 or 3 shots at heavy gunners, level 145s. Not bad. 3-shotting them, not, bad. I did test out like a fire rate build where I put like fire rate in there and put like critical deceleration, so I actually have a little bit more crit chance. It's kind of the same. I think the damage would be same. If you want more fire rate in this, I guess you could run it that way, like remove heavy cal and put in not shotgun spaz. Fucking hell, I just have shotgun mods on my mind. Whatever, speed trigger in there, and put critical deceleration instead of point strike. If you want to, you can do it. I think it only gives you like maybe 10% more crit chance, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, that the one of the things about this weapon, another thing, it is a rocket launcher, first off, which I was actually surprised by that because I didn't really think it was gonna be, but then it turns out it is. And secondly, when you aim down the sights, the projectile will actually follow where you're aiming at, kind of like like how like it works like with Zephyr. I'm not even sure if that works with Zephyr anymore because Zephyr got a remix, so who the fuck knows. But you can aim down sights and the tornadoes will follow wherever you're aiming at. It's kind of like that. Like the projectile, if you fire it normally, like without aiming, it just goes wherever the fuck it goes. But if you aim down sight, it has this little laser thing. You can't really see it because I have like a big Vitala shoulder pad, so you can't really see it with my armor, but it has like a little bit of a fucking laser thing, and what it does, it will follow wherever you're aiming, and like it will go down, which is like probably the coolest thing about this weapon. Like you can aim at it, like you can shoot at it one place and then just take the projectile and have it land somewhere else. Like that's kind of cool. And sometimes if you're trying to get a headshot, sometimes I think you might have seen it, it like starts swarming around the enemy, which is also kind of cool. But yeah, that's like another cool thing about this weapon is like you could pretty much make the projectile bend corners. You can pretty much go it will go wherever you're aiming pretty easily. It is a little slower again, but I'm guessing if you put some like projectile speed mod in there within the Exilus, you could probably make it a little bit quicker. Like the projectile is a little slower, but if you put like if you make the projectile have a faster speed with the mod, I'm guessing it will be faster to do it. But yeah, it is one of the that is like one of the cooler things about this weapon. And in steel path, as you would guess, it works pretty well. Now the thing about this weapon is the where I fucked up was I got my Kubazar before I got the Envoy, so that's why it's just not that great, to be honest. Like the Kuvazar is like, I gotta say, like so much more better. Like I like the fact that you can aim the projectile and make it go places and shit like that, and I like it. That's a cool little feature. But man, if you just want raw damage and an you know, like a weapon that has like fucking, you know, can exploding projectiles and shit like that, you should go for Kuvazar. I'm just saying, like, you know, Envoy isn't bad, but Kuvazar is just so much more better that it's just, it doesn't make any sense for me for you to get this weapon. Like if you're gonna get the Kuvazar, you're not gonna end up using it and never. Like I guess if you want to have it for like, you know, mastery rank, or you just want to have it just because it looks cool, that's good too. But yeah, I gotta say it was you know, it's not the weapon that I would use if I was to go with something like this, but it is a cool little weapon, and you want to, if you want to use it, and you know, maybe, who knows, you know, maybe you like it more than the Kuvazar, which I don't think a lot of people are going to be using this instead of the Kuvazar. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going to be using the Kuvazar, you know, instead of this. I'm just saying. But yeah, it is a pretty decent weapon. Decent damage. If you want to get your hands on it, you can, for sure. Go ahead. But yeah, that's the Tenet Envoy. Thank you for watching. And yep, see you in another video. Goodbye.